until like DOC could get in.
The amount of times that, what was it, Mendoza? We had driven 2 away and put them into the airlock bit, and then came back around to get the last one, and there was another one there.
I think in total there was like 6 or 8 buses at the end or some shit like that.
Yeah, Tabitha Rock had a similar thing where we were just we put them in the airlock, and then we turned around. There was 2 more, so we put those 2 up, and then we turned around and there was 2 more. I'm like, oh, all right.
Although I must admit they've stopped spawning as fast now.
Yeah, but they typically spawn like right after a storm, like almost guaranteed.
Yeah.
And while we're usually at the meeting, that's when people like to take advantage of it. Also, I like to point out, if anyone sees anyone like escorting someone and seating them in a locked bus, that's power gaming, and please report it.
Okay.
I know that there has been people who have done that in the past. I haven't personally seen it myself, but I know I've been told that other people have seen it be done. If you do see that happen, please report it, because that is against the rules.
Okay.
But
go ahead, Lyra.
Would it be all right for those lifers that, would you appreciate it if, like Throck said, they get into the bus and they lock it so that other people can't
get to.
As long as you're not abusing the mechanic, that's fine.
Can I still search the glove boxes for masks and hats?
True. Preferably not. No.
All right, fine.
So yeah, but just keep that in mind. Of course, if we do catch you in the buses, even though even if you're just locking them, we're gonna RP it as if you're breaking the rules. So
yeah.
Just keep that in mind.
I did no such thing.
Okay, moving along. That's all I had for announcements. Sam, I'm sure has more. Go ahead.
I do. So basically, I just want to thank everybody for coming here and taking time out of your day to come here and talk to us. It's still been a wild ride for me. I'm still starting to get accustomed to being the warden-ish. Some OOC stuff that needs to be addressed. Hang on, let me find the thing from Matthews real quick. So just so you guys know, since you guys are lifers, you can't break out of prison unless it's been approved by staff. You should always RP as if DOC are around, even if no players are online. And we cannot use the teleport unless you are a prisoner. And by teleport, I mean the little clipboard thing by Dr. Bilbao. And I'm trying to find other things. We will get a new MLO soon, TM.
MLO?
What?
A new building?
TM.
New prison?
Are we playing showers?
We can't elaborate on what's going to be in it. All that we can say is that at some point in the future, probably not super soon, probably I'd say at the earliest, very earliest by the end of the year, like December, if not later, we're getting something. Can't say what it is, but just keep that in mind.
Yeah, I can't really go into detail about it. So this basically soon TM.
Yeah, it's not going to be super soon. It's going to take some time, but it is being worked on.
Spicy.
Okay, so let's get into the nitty-gritty. I know as of late that everybody has an opinion on punishments and consequences for, namely, the lifers. How do I want to do this? For DOC side of things, we are still tinkering with it. Since, a majority of us don't have lifer characters, it's kind of difficult to gauge how you guys are feeling about it. We are thinking about imposing if you're a lifer and you get charged with a crime that is supposed to be 25 months, we would fine you the full fine, and then we would put you guys in solitary for 25 minutes. That's been something that's been proposed in character. In terms of security levels, are there any... Let's start with just lifers, their opinions on it.
I
Keep in
think
mind that they were recently changed, so just
Yeah.
how do you like it now versus the old system, and any changes that you'd like to be made to the new system?
I think so. For me personally, the system is fine how it is right now, like with the 1, 2, and 3, low, medium, high. I just think security levels are thrown around too often.
All the lifers are scared to do anything. Or
Yeah,
the
that's
security level.
True.
Like we had me, Tabitha, and I can't remember who else it was. I think it was Dimitri. We had one DOC to the three of us, and she did not care one bit. She like had no fear in her. She's like, "Oh well, you're lifers, so you're not gonna hurt me," type thing. Even though like we're in there for life for a reason. Why is she just like not caring that we're basically all killers?
Yeah, not like that's a legitimate thing. Is
Some people are like that, and honestly, the only reason they are like that, in my opinion, is because they can go outside and get a helicopter and fly in and shoot your asses down. Which
No, but
I
this
am.
is a DOC.
yeah, this was a
though.
recruit.
This is a DOC.
Oh, okay,
recruit.
okay.
But
Okay.
2 1s. That's easy.
They. So about the security levels being tossed around too much, it really should just be like supervisors and up get to decide that. So
Well, it is, but like just for like with Maya got thrown into medium security just for having a phone. That should not have been 7 days of medium security. Like, in my opinion, unless it's something like major, like a gun or like a bomb or like Throck had a jerry can, it shouldn't ever be a security level for contraband. It should just be solitary, and it could be like longer solitary. That's fine.
Well,
But like, just a security level change for a phone is like, it's a bit, in my opinion, it's a bit ridiculous. Like, oh no, she tweeted a selfie, 7 days in cuffs.
well, that's what we can use the same time and fine system as
Yeah.
what we use for the short timers. Is if they're caught with contraband, they will get charged this much. They will get this much time. That will be applied to. That can be applied to long time people, saying you are going to be in the cell for this amount of time, because you've been caught with contraband.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
then
that's-
that's the same. Basically, we're applying the same policy to the short timers as we are to those who are with us for a long time.
Right.
It is very frustrating to, as a lifer, just sit there and watch short timers stab you guys, stab everybody, just cause actual chaos. And then they get out 30 minutes later and they don't ever, like, oh no, they get fined and then they're out 30 minutes later.
Well,
Meanwhile, if we do the
they're
same,
getting 10 months solitary as well. It's not even that long.
yeah, that too. But meanwhile, if any of us do the same, it's like immediately shoved up to max for however long.
Mm-hmm.
So,
or
like,
medium.
Right. Yeah, that's fair.
Because like
It's-
that's why everybody's so scared to do anything, because short timers will come in, stab you guys 10 minutes solitary, and then back out again. But with us, we're like stabbing you guys like
and it's
and
days
then-
of punishment.
yeah, it's like long and boring.
Yeah. So like
Okay.
I mean, we used to apply security levels to short timers as well. So if they ever came back, they'd be put on that security level for something they did before. The problem we ran into is being able to be consistent with that, because we'd have to catch them every time they come in.
And
That
make
fine, that's
got difficult.
understandable.
But I agree, for certain things, definitely raising a security level should just be replaced with a certain amount of time in solitary.
Like, in my opinion, security level should only be raised for like a serious, legitimate risk of violence or flight against the DOC.
But then
Specifically
then
DOC.
you could argue
But-
with the whole stabbing thing. We stab a DOC, that's security to level up. But yeah, either
Mhm.
that or just increase the amount of time that the short timer is in solitary for.
Yeah.
Also-
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Also, when I was getting sent off, I know Kylo was going to try to work something out with you guys where I was max, because the amount of people who are trying to kill Connor for killing Jason Hart.
Mhm.
But of course, Connor didn't want that.
I am personally not a huge fan of PD saying this lifer needs to go into max security immediately after being sentenced, because it's just not great role play for them.
I mean, ultimately, it's up to us to decide what your security level should be. I feel like they can suggest, like this person's known to be dangerous, suggested security level max or something like that.
Well,
but as far as like demanding it, I don't think that should be a thing.
Well, maybe that's something we can start now that we've got Akira and Kylo and you have Lyra. Maybe if the PD are making that demand, it actually, what would be a good connection with SAO would be talking to SEO. At this point, we would like, these are the reasons we want them, put them on max. Is that a suggestible thing that we put them in max the moment they go into prison? That way it increases the role play with SEO, it increases the role play with DOC and PD, and encourages that discussion between them all.
Right.
It doesn't help though if PD recruits are asking PD what security level they are, because when Lexi got sent for expungement in the helicopter, as soon as they landed the helicopter, one of the recruits went, "So what security level will she be on?" They actually physically asked her, "What should she go on?"
That's probably more an guiding thing that we need to go over with them in boot camp and perhaps talk about that. And more as an in-character change.
Right. Now, bear in mind, we do have characters, lifer characters, who are just known for being extremely dangerous and aggressive all the time.
Yes.
And yeah, like Adrian. I mean, I'm gonna refrain from naming names, but
Daniel.
you guys said it, not me. Basically, I mean, and these are characters that make it really hard to justify like lowering security levels for certain people for certain things. And it's like, I know that these people don't have a lot to do when they're in max security. Like yesterday, I walked into the cell block and saw that Adrian was in a cell. I walked over to him. I talked to him a little bit. He went into his whole spiel about let me out. And I was like, no, I'm not gonna let you out. And then, 5 minutes later of conversation, he sits back down, and I'm like, well, I guess we're done role playing. And it's like, and I feel bad because it's like, I want you to be able to do something, but the way that you're playing your character is not allowing me to let you do anything, because I know that if I let you out, you're gonna stab somebody. And of course, that's not the same for all characters, but when you're applying punishments as when you're trying to standardize them, it makes it difficult when people behave that way, because then you start thinking, okay, well, if anyone stabs anyone, they need to go on max security for as long as possible. Even if it's like they did it once in 2 months,
Should it not depend on the person then, more for lifers then? Like, if you're known for previous behaviour, then yeah. But, if you're not really known for it, and just straight away harsh punishing for it?
So...
that could be something, yeah.
Something else you could look at is if they commit the same crime in a certain amount of period of time, then they might need to go up on a security level. So, for example, Adrian managed to stab 2 people. Was it 2 people? No, he stabbed, he had a screwdriver twice. For example, if he wasn't known for that, if there was a third occasion, we could then up his security level. Say, Broco is found with a screwdriver twice, and then he's found with it a third time. Well, there's the third offense. Let's bring it up.
Yeah, definitely severity of the incident should play a role in it, and how many times they do it should play a role in it as well. One thing that I'd like all DOC to keep in mind who's here right now is that the listed times for security levels are basically just the standard. You don't have to have someone in, for example, if you put someone on max on max security, they don't have to be in max security for the full 3 days or 5 days or however long it's listed. You can give them 1 day of max, and however many days of medium, and depending on the severity, depending on what you decide, it's up to your discretion. Same as like when a cop arrests somebody, they can adjust what charges they get, what times and fines they get to a degree. So the same thing goes for giving someone a security level. You don't have to give them the maximum listed time in the SOPs. I don't know if that's something that everyone knew or not, but just in case it needs to be said, there it is.
Okay. Does DOC in particular have any opinions or like suggestions and stuff about the punishments in particular? I know it doesn't really affect us too much because we're not receiving the punishments, but I'd like to get, opinions.
I guess my only concern and things with that is that a lot of times, like, people don't listen to DOC in general. So the fact that, if we do punishments lesser, if we change it to the fact like you spend 10 months for X contraband or whatever, I think that's fine. I think that would be helpful because half the time I already feel like I'm saying empty threats because I don't want to shut down your guys' roleplay and throw you in a cell. At the same time, I also am trying to do my job,
I'm all fair game if you want to punish me for whatever. I don't mind. I like the RP interaction with anything. Getting
Shoot me with a beanbag.
Yeah. Fucking dome me if you got to.
See, for the whole not listening thing, rather than going straight to medium, why not do the solitary? Because in regards to obviously not listening, I know I'm bad for it, but
I've talked to her
it's
about it
just
multiple
really,
times.
it's just really threats. I haven't actually, like, other than being put in cuffs, I haven't really been put in solitary to even, like, essentially, quote unquote, think about my actions in a sense.
I think the reason for that historically has been that most people who get put in solitary don't give a fuck. And I'm not saying you guys don't. I'm saying that in our experience, when we have done that in the past, before you guys got here, it didn't make a difference. So I think that's why most of us probably don't lean towards that, because in our experience, it doesn't do anything.
I also prefer keeping people in medium security versus putting them in max immediately or even solitary, because at least then you guys can move around and talk to people instead of just staying in your cell. But we could do the whole, like, if you get charged with contraband, you just spend however many months in solitary.
Mm-hmm. I think it could be up to the officer discretion based on what happened and who's giving the punishment. And I think that just like with people who get arrested, you could even negotiate, like, okay, would you rather have this much time in solitary, or would you rather be on medium security for a day or something,
So
Actually, yeah. Go ahead, Lyra.
So I think if we use the idea of the time and the fine the same as the lifers going to a cell for this amount of time, or the huts or the 48, you know what I mean. The long people go into a cell for this amount of time, for X amount of time, and PD are aware that that's going to happen, it means that PD will be less likely to go, they need to go on to max, they need to go to this security level, when actually they can go, okay, I know what the punishment is going to be. You're going to go into the cell for this amount of solitary time, and I know that's the same as what I would be charging a person, a 95, I would be charging them for this amount of time, and it can be, then they also have an idea. It's not going to be confusing for them. They know that the person is going to receive the same amount of punishment as it is under the penal code, just it's going to be into the solitary for that amount of time. And that it gives it kind of gives all sides an idea of, okay, this is where we're going with it. And then if we decide that they need to go into a security level, that information can be brought to us, or can be brought to us, and we can go, yes, we can see this is a thing. We need to increase the security level.
Yeah, that's pretty fair. Any other lingering thoughts or opinions about this topic before we move on to the next one?
Anything involving punishments?
Yeah. So personally, I know Warden said she prefers medium to max. Personally, I would rather take a day of max over a day of medium because being in cuffs sucks. You can't feed yourself. You can't run. You can't jump. Like, being in medium is just being able to watch your friends have fun and just not be able to do it. So, like, I would rather take 180 months of solitary than 180 months of, like, medium security.
That's fair, because when I was on Lilibel, I was like, please just put me in cuffs. I do not want to be in solitary and just watch people walk around while I be like an animal at a zoo. But I think something like I think something like that can be negotiated in character, actually.
Okay.
But yeah, I am starting to lean towards, just negotiating maybe or something, giving you guys a bit more leeway in that regard.
Also, let lifers fight with short timers, because like
they fucking deserve it sometimes.
I agree.
Let us have that.
We want you to, but in character, it doesn't make sense for us to just stand there and be like, yeah, fuck him up,
But going back to that previous statement is that if we charge the short timer with assault, then we can also charge the lifer with assault. And it's back to that fairness, is that we would be punishing them for that. We would punish you for the same amount of time.
Exactly.
So, like, there was a point in time, by the way, when short timers were constantly accusing us of playing favorites with lifers and like treating lifers better, because
because we live there.
We were, and that's true, but also it doesn't need to be so. Like I said, out of character, I'm totally for you guys fighting the short timers. In character, it just doesn't make sense for me to just let you do it. You know what I mean?
It doesn't make sense, I agree, but then again, it doesn't make sense for lifers to be lifers, but completely not feared at all.
Yeah.
That's also true. That's also true.
Okay, so I think for a fair trade is what Lyra suggested, is just that if the lifers and the short timers want to just double down and fight each other, they can, and then afterwards we'll just slap you guys with assault or something.
Yeah, that's fine with me.
That sounds good.
I mean,
could you not essentially play it like, not get involved, because then that will put you at harm's way, essentially?
I like that.
If it's a big enough, if it's a big enough fight, like a riot or something, then yeah, typically the standard procedure is just stand back, wait for him to get done. As long as you're not fighting any DOC, let him get done with it, because it's too dangerous to get involved. But if it's just like, two people fighting each other like one-on-one, that's something that we are supposed to get involved in and separate.
No. If one lifer gets hit, all the lifers.
So you're basically like one-on-one fight, just fucking full-on scramble.
But like, it's been to a point where.
Question: I just want to make sure I'm understanding this properly. Did you just say you would let them fight and then you would charge them both afterwards? Am I hearing that correctly? I just want to make sure.
It would be a case of where there is multiple of both group fighting with each other, and it's not safe for us to intervene because of value of our own life.
Okay.
That would be like stepping into two gang wars, and virtually we're one person. It might be one or two people against four people.
Yeah, there's
on
no
both sides.
There's no like hard and fast number on if there's this many people, then we don't move in. But if there's one less person than we do, it's more like if there's enough people to where if we got involved, there's a good chance we'd be getting hurt ourselves.
And your gear taken.
Yeah, and possibly have our gear taken or something, then we will not engage.
But yeah,
it doesn't have to be like, again, a specific number. It can just be what we feel is like, all right, that's a big fight, stay back.
I have a question. In regards to the dogs, do the dogs need to be commanded to attack, or can they be attacked without being commanded?
I mean, if you attack the dog, they'll attack you.
No, because there's been twice where obviously I've not been listening, and the dog's been growling, and suddenly attacked me without being told to.
So, hi. I actually work with dogs for a living, and so does Earl. They are not supposed to attack you unless they are given the command. Ideally, they would be on like a leash or something, and then you release the leash with the command. But I can also understand if a dog is going to attack somebody because, they got fucking kicked.
Yeah, if a dog is off by
It was
itself as
literally
well,
just,
then
in regards to situations, it was literally me just walking away, and they've came up and attacked because I've obviously not been listening, and they've just straight away attacked without being told to.
no, that's something that shouldn't happen. No. If you weren't doing anything hostile and it was not ordered to attack you, then it should not have attacked you. As far as what to do in that situation, I'm not entirely sure. I guess the only thing I can think of would be bring it up in character.
Put in a complaint.
Put in a complaint. Yeah. We're not in charge of the dogs. We can go to the people who are and tell them and be like, "Hey, we've got dogs that are just attacking people without being ordered to for no reason." I can say there have been people who play dogs that have gotten in trouble for things like that in the past. That's something that we can look into.
Personally, while Sam is canine certed, most of the time I pass off the canines to somebody else because you guys have seen me. I'm everywhere. And it's just like, it's another thing for me to keep track of is another unit that can't really, have the same intelligence as me.
Yeah, I don't really care for taking dogs with me to the prison either. I know some people love it. I just don't really care for it. I work with dogs for a living. I don't need to fucking have someone RP one next to me.
Okay.
I would like to say one last thing on this, punishments-wise.
Sure.
And then we can move on. And this is like related to lifers versus short timers versus DOC. Like, I am totally fine with having if a lifer attacks a DOC, that is much more severe of a punishment than if a lifer attacks a short timer.
Mm-hmm.
Just because, like, in prison, you expect some prisoners to beef, right? Like,
Right.
That's kind of how prison is seen. But, as of late, I've been, so fucking scared of getting Throck on any security level. I've just been... I've felt like a doormat, basically. Because these guys come in, and they just do shit. Like, I got fucking robbed, and...
yeah, that was bullshit. That guy shouldn't have even been in the fucking prison.
I reported it. Staff said it was handled so, but still. Like, when he came back... There was so many opportunities that I could have fucking just, went up to him and stabbed him, but, there were you guys around, so I didn't want to be seeing that, because I knew, as soon as I bring that knife out, I'm getting a security level, basically.
Yeah.
Which, it's such a hard thing to pull back with, but at the same time, it's frustrating to...
So...
Go ahead, Sam. Go ahead. I'll speak after.
So with that, I would actually get the other lifers to lure the guy away for you and, maybe around the corner or something, stab him. Then
it's just not how the way it worked out in the situation. It was just myself and Maddie. And then it was one of the situations where there was too many inmates, so the DOC or you guys left. And then he came in, and then there was suddenly enough of you, so you guys came in, but I didn't get a chance to get to him before.
Mm-hmm.
And then, he attacked, so he got himself put in solitary. So then I just stood outside the solitary door, and then as soon as the door was opened, Mendoza locked the door and locked me out. So like I was real close to stabbing you, by the way. I was like,
I
fuck
was
it.
well aware. I was well aware.
Like I was at that point, I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna get a security level. But like there was opportunities before I had come to terms with the security level that I could have done something, and that I probably would have had I not just been like, well, my RP is gonna be fucked for the next 2 days, 3 days, or however long.
See, in regards to security level, you know how we do it by days? And obviously, like, one whole 24 hours of RP in a security level like that is extremely long. Rather than, like, considering 24 hours in actual days being 1 day, why don't we do it per storm? So, like, every storm is 1 day, essentially.
Because that would get very confusing.
Yeah.
Because like for example, what happens if someone stabs someone like 2 hours before the storm hits? Are they only in max for 2 hours, or do they go into the next storm too? You know, like.
I'll be honest. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, as far as being concerned for having your security level raised for like stabbing someone, like, I mean, I know it ruins some RP for you guys, and I hate that, but at the same time, if someone gets stabbed in prison and we know who did it, it doesn't make sense for us to not punish them like that. You know what I mean?
I feel a security level punishment isn't as realistic as just a shit ton of solitary.
Right, but like in real life, you would get literally like a month of solitary.
Then give me 180 months of solitary. Like I'd rather take
more
that.
than a month, dog.
Like,
Yeah,
but like
like-
I'd rather take that and then just be let out than go to max and then a medium.
The question becomes at that point, how much time in solitary is enough time? And I think the answer to that would be on a case by case basis, because like I said, there are some people who, doesn't matter how long they're locked up for, as soon as you let them out, they're gonna stab somebody.
Yeah.
You know, so it becomes this thing where you can't necessarily have a standard time for, okay, this person stabbed someone, they get this X amount of time because that's what the rules are. It becomes, okay, what do I feel they deserve? And the problem with that is that every DOC member is going to have a different opinion on how long they should have. And so when one person does something and gets, say, 180 months, another person's going to do the same thing later on, but get punished by a different DOC member and get like 60 months. And then the person who got 180 months is going to complain, like, well, I got 180 months. Why they get 60 months?
Well,
you know, and that's my concern with that.
Well, if we use the penal code idea where we're doing it for the sake, we've got those things: assaulted, attempted murder is what? I can't remember. And I feel like a bad SAO. Sorry, Allan. I'm going to get shouted at in a moment. So, what? Attempted murder of the public is 65. They all get full time, full fine in the prison. So they know that they're going to get that 65 months in solitary. Plus
that's
whatever.
Something we could do, is the just make sure it matches the charges.
Uh-huh.
We would have to make sure though that when they're getting their charges that they get all the charges that are applicable, because again, you could have a situation where one DOC member wants to charge them with, they want to stack contraband, they want to stack assault, they want to stack, possession of a weapon, blah blah blah. But then the other DOC just wants to put assault, and that's it.
It would have to make sure that they are doing the same thing consistently, and they are charging for that attempted murder of a public servant or peace officer. They are charging for having that contraband. They are charging for, and again, it's the same for resisting arrest and disobeying a peace officer. And it would bring us in line with PD. Because PD can come and help us, like teaching. They can come and make sure that, and like I said, PD then know, actually, yes, that makes sense because I know what's going to happen when something happens to me. I know this is going to happen. And actually, when we did it with Russo the other day, because he assaulted a lifer assaulted on Russo, And Russo was like, they don't get punished when they attack PD officers, but when Sam was there, we said, what did we went, well, we can put him in solitary for the amount of time, for that amount.
Yeah,
of
it was
time.
like solitary for 15.
And he said, that's fair. I like that, and we did that.
Okay. Yeah, that can definitely work. I just want to make it clear that there will be times that one person does something that's, from a certain perspective, perhaps the same thing as something that another lifer did, but the punishments don't line up exactly the same. And I just want people to be aware of that and be okay with that being the case, because that happens with people who get arrested who are short timers too.
Yep, that's fine.
Short timers get different times and fines depending on the person and obviously the arresting officer.
Exactly. But my point is that in the past, I've had lifers, again, come up to me and say, why did I get this punishment when this person did the same thing and they got a less punishment? It's like, that's just how it played out, man. I don't know what to tell you,
Like, as long as you just say, look, that's how the penal code is written, that's the punishments that are written in the books in the city's law book, right, basically. That's enough of an answer for me and any of my characters. Because, like, as long as you have an actual answer, not just, I don't know. If you can say penal code, this, you got assault with a deadly, contraband, this. If you can add up that math and just tell me it, I'll understand. I won't be happy in character, but I'll understand.
And it actually allows for us to then also work with, like I said, SEO, but it can also work with lawyers as well. The people can call lawyers that employs the DOJ to start being active up towards the prison, start getting people to, like, increasing that amount of roleplay.
So I'll be honest, I'm in this kind of like the same boat as Frock with the stabbing people. So Connor is chance of parole on October 1st, and now he has people coming after him because of them pressing him and beating up his friend. I had to make a sacrifice out of character to even give my character a chance to get parole, which I never wanted to do for Connor. And now I have to worry about being a good boy, which he's clearly not. You've seen his record, he's not a good person per se, but it kind of sucks that I have to be a little bitch in character just to even worry about parole. And I fucking hate it.
Well, parole is a whole different beast entirely, man.
Yeah.
Parole is...
Imagine having a chance of parole.
Parole is...
right?
Parole is SEO, DOJ, going through that. And when they did Blue's parole, the judge actually went back through all the reports as well, and went through all the incident reports to see what she was like. And that's something that you would need to take up with SAO, with the DOJ, in order to, if that makes the change. Now, if you did do something, what you could do, and you claimed it was in self-defense, what you could do then is say, actually, it wasn't self-defense, I want a lawyer, I want to employ that part of RP to make sure that I'm not being trampled on.
Yeah. True.
And then just increase that roleplay.
I will also say that there are other creative avenues for you to get your revenge. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, I know.
Oh, Throck's put like so many hits out on people, you guys don't even know.
All right, so is there any other questions or concerns regarding punishments before we move on?
Punish me.
Ready?
Oh my goodness.
All right, it looks like that's next topic. What's on the agenda, Sam?
Hang on. Just scroll back to everything. Okay, so next part is basically a section of airing out other concerns. We'll start with DOC side. The first thing that I really want to know from people is, are you guys getting overwhelmed? Are you guys getting stressed? Or are you guys like bored? That's one thing I'd like to hear.
Just in terms of...
DOC?
Yeah, DOC.
I'm getting frustrated just because, and it's not really anyone's fault. It's just that there's so many fucking people in the prison, and I can't like go in there and roleplay with people because just we don't have the numbers during second shift.
Mhm.
And I know like the prisoners don't want it either, and I get to a point where it's like, okay, there's like 5 of them, there's like 2 or 3 of us, like, but we also have to wrangle everyone back into order, which is hard to do when you're outnumbered. So like,
Right.
it's frustrating, and that's like, I know it's not something that can be solved overnight or can be really addressed with lifers. It's just, I think like the fact that people have been just crazy with the buses and just being fucking batshit crazy when there's no DOC around during second shift, that it makes it very hard to rejoin that RP with, you know, as a DOC member when we're outnumbered.
Can I recommend something for you guys?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Bring in something like real life prison systems, like trustees and prisoners. Like they can help wrangle up the prisoners that are, being foolish and shit when it's time to go in.
You mean like having prisoners help?
Yeah, like have like certain people that are trustees, that are not that violent or have no violent record on them, but are lifers.
Well, the thing is like, first off, when I think of trustees, I just think that's going to create a snitch problem because there's a snitch problem in roleplay altogether. So
Yeah,
I think that will just create more violence in the long run. But like, I also know when I'm logging on, like if I see Throck and Connor now, based on our interactions, like I know you guys wouldn't give me a hard time, so I kind of don't take you guys into account when I'm counting inmates. And that comes with time and experience, and not everyone's gonna know that. Obviously, not everyone's gonna have those same experiences, but I try, and it's hard, man. It's a hard life being shift 2 right now.
Yeah, it's something that I have been concerned with for a long time. It's a very fine line to walk when it comes to like how many lifers do we accept into the server at a time, because they come in waves. Some people will make lifer characters that they don't end up playing for very long because maybe it just wasn't like what they thought it was going to be, or maybe they didn't like it as much as they thought they were going to, so they don't show up anymore. And so we have these waves where we have like 7 or 8 lifers awake at one time for like a couple weeks, and then after that it drops off to like 3 or 4, and then it's like, okay, well, all the lifers are gone, we got to accept more lifers, so we accept more lifers, and it goes into waves. And then you get some people who haven't been around for a long time, and they see that there's a lot of other people around, so then they log in again, like Tyrese. He's been a lifer for a long time, but was inactive for a very long time until very recently. And so it's this constant give and take of, how many do we accept? Should we stop accepting for a while? And at the same time, it's kind of the same thing on the DOC side. We have DOC who need to take breaks because of burnout, or DOC who get hired and then just decide the job isn't for them and they stop showing up. I know personally lately I've just been busy with work during second shift, which is why I've had to log out after like an hour and a half after the storm, because I have to literally go do work. My schedule changes periodically based on this, and I know that some people are probably the same. I don't really have a solution to that problem, unfortunately, and I don't know if there even is one.
See, in regards to that, obviously with the new lifers, there has been quite a few accepted recently. There was obviously the 4 siblings that came around, woke up. So there was the 4 of them. There was 4 other lifers that were already there, plus another. I think it was about 5 short timers that were also there as well, leaving 13 of us. I have not seen the 4 siblings apart from one of them today awake, and I don't know if it's obviously because the DOC couldn't come in because they were well outnumbered with 13 of us in, but it was just when because there was 4 of them flying in, they all flew in together because obviously they're siblings who would want to RP that together. There was the 4 previous lifers plus however many short timers who'd woke up that morning.
So the issue also comes is that you've got to have enough action to maintain the DOC staff that you have to keep their levels of roleplay going. Otherwise, they're sitting in a prison, so you accept more lifers. Suddenly, you have a dropping number of DOC because they're not having that, and it, like Elle said, it's just a constant swing. It's really hard to find that perfect balance where you've accepted enough people for enough lifer activity plus short timers. It's a constant swing from side to side.
And I know that this past recruit wave with the PD recruits, I don't know if it's just me, but it feels like since the last boot camp, there hasn't been a lot of PD recruits actually logging in.
I've noticed that.
Yeah.
What I've noticed is with the PD recruits, they're coming awake when barely any inmates are on, so therefore they don't have to come to the prison and they sit doing duty desk or something, and that's how they get their 50 hours, by doing desk duty, because they fly in.
I will interrupt on that one. The latest boot camp that we had was specifically for the 3rd shift and early 1st shift. So when there isn't a lot of people anyway.
That might be why I haven't been seeing them around for like during 2nd shift then.
So that's why this last boot camp you haven't seen many of them at all. And I'm looking at some of them and some of the own probationaries anyway, and I know I haven't seen some of them for a while.
We are also actively interviewing new full-time DOC recruits, so we should be getting some more of them pretty soon. As for whether or not they'll stick around, that remains to be seen. But we've been getting a lot more applications in the last couple months than we normally have, which is I'm guessing can only be explained by Lyra's putting up adverts for DOC plus the just the lifer activity and all that and word of mouth.
Yeah, so I'm the one who looks at the lifer applications, mainly because I don't want the others to meta, because some of this stuff that is about certain lifers is really fun to find out in character. I will say that every single time I've gone to look over lifer applications, there's more and more. The last one that I just looked at, there were 14 people. And I don't expect all of them to fly in, but it's becoming more popular and we've gotten more DOC applicants, so I'm just happy overall. It's going to be a balancing issue. You guys can also, like DOC, you guys can stay on the rooftops. It's going to take those inmates time to climb up, to run over to where you are on the rooftops, and if you see that happen, you can just go, oh shit, time to fucking leave. Or I can just beam them.
It's gonna be a point, I think, where if we're on the rooftops and an inmate just runs onto the rooftops, I'm gonna code red their ass.
Hey, I've done that a few times. Leave me alone.
Not allowed.
I've done that a few times just to see what you guys are doing. You guys stand up there looking so cool. I want to be part of that.
Yeah.
Usually when we're standing up there, it's because we have class 2s waiting for helicopters to come in.
Yeah, I know. Well,
yeah, that's the most fun part, sneaking up behind you.
At the heli. Yeah. Gary Johnson was the best.
Okay, DOC, any other concerns?
Using security levels as a demand.
A demand? Oh, yes.
Now, with that changing, that's probably not as relevant, but people using security levels as a demand, and it was becoming to the point where you are actively doing this several times within a last period of days, and you're becoming dangerous, and you're demanding that you aren't going to go up on a security level. Reasonably, that's not something we can do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like if you guys take a hostage and you're armed, and one of your demands is I don't want to be on max security, tough shit. Like I don't know. I don't know what else you want us to do. Like that's like saying, "Let me kill this guy and please don't punish me for it." You know what I mean?
But with the new going along line with the penal code, that can be something that's obviously probably going to be much less because. But it's just whilst it was happening, the security levels was kind of. But you are currently holding a knife to somebody's throat. You're holding several people hostage at this point, and you've been known to be dangerous and repeat this several times. And it's not actually anyone here; it's somebody else. You're making a demand for a not to be security level change when we know that this is a repeated, frequent pattern with you, and you're asking not to be punished for it, and then you get upset because we do have to punish you for it because it is an unreasonable demand.
Yeah. As far as like negotiations for situations like that, whether it's a hostage situation or I know in the past before the rule about jailbreaks was implemented, lifers who broke out negotiating like, okay, I'll turn myself in and come back to prison, but I don't want my security level raised. It's like, I feel like punishments shouldn't be part of the negotiation process. You can demand stuff, but if your only demand is I want to do what I'm doing and not get punished for it, that doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean?
That's very unrealistic.
Yeah. So just keep that in mind. Spread the word to your fellow lifers. If any situation arises where you are in a negotiation like that, please don't try and include, punishment or lack thereof as part of the negotiation. Ask for something else. Anything else.
Can I say something?
Mm-hmm.
So demands are not a server rule. So if you grant them and then you take them away, tough shit. So like.
Oh yeah, no, we've done that.
So,
we do take them away. What we're saying though is out of character. If you don't want to be punished, too bad. You're going to be punished.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of the risk we take as lifers when we choose to do these kind of things, like, taking hostages or try to do jailbreaks. That is the risk. If we can negotiate security levels, there's no risk. There's basically no fun in it. And to me, that's the fun of it. You're going to take this risk. And that's kind of the adrenaline of it.
Exactly.
But like
that's been my one peeve though with those kind of situations is it seems like every time there's some kind of hostage situation, one of the main demands is always don't punish me.
So, but with the changing of the penal code, now you guys know. Hopefully, it was from Gabriel's point of view. How does that sound? And those that are in PD, how does that sound to you?
What?
With if we punish for the amount of time that you would punish a 95 for.
Oh, I don't know. That's your guys' thing. Sounds good. I don't know how you guys do it. I just respond to the 98 and then stand outside until it's over. So.
I honestly think it's a really good idea.
You're really soft, Bella.
Bella speaking from three rooms down.
Yep.
Is it better?
That's better.
Yeah, that's better.
A little bit, yeah.
Hold on, I can turn up more. I don't want to scream in your ears.
Scream.
No, you're good. You're good.
We can turn you up.
How's that?
Oh, way too loud. No, okay, go ahead.
Much better.
Okay.
Yeah, you're fine. You're fine.
So I honestly think it's a very good idea, especially with fines too, because like lifers, they're lifers, right? They have nothing to lose by spending like whatever time in the cell. So I think it's a great idea.
All right, sounds good.
I'm just going to ask quickly because I just joined. I completely forgot about this. Are you guys going to fine the lifers? Because that won't do anything.
Yeah, there's no point.
It's gonna be both fine and time. I know that it won't do anything, but
yeah, I was about to
hold on.
say that don't matter.
It does actually because some of us play lifers that have parole. For example, my lifer has parole coming up. So for me and some others, it would be a great deterrent.
What about
Gotta-
the Life Invader thing? Would that not also affect in regards to if we get fined and if we are allowed to go to Life Invader? Obviously, that fine will kind of.
Yeah, that'll eat into it.
Actually, thank you for reminding me. I need to put that in my to-do list.
So
Rock about to see just how high he can get his debt.
And even if nothing else, for in-character reasons, just having that paper trail of punishments, times and fines and all that is good for if any kind of court situation were to come up, especially for things like parole. Having that documentation of this person was charged with this on this day and so on and so forth, and given this punishment, that's great for any kind of role play that might come out of that.
And like I said, that then, for example, Gabriel can, Donut Boy can come in and say, I know that this person has assaulted me, they're going to get this amount of time in solitary, and they're going to be fined for it, and it would be the same as if somebody else on the outside had done the same.
Yeah, I mean, we also fine people when they're like negative 100k in their bank, so I don't see why it would be different if you're in prison already.
Gary Johnson.
Right.
Gary. Ben.
I think you guys will care more once we start doing Life Invader trips. I think you guys will care a little more.
Well, with our lifer jobs not giving us a paycheck unless you put money into it.
I might have a workaround for that. It's a workaround that I will propose in character.
Because I know at the moment I'm getting $25 from Maya.
Yeah, I have a workaround that I will propose to you guys in character. So.
Okay.
Yeah, I have like 52 grand at Life Invader.
Yeah.
I'm kind of rich.
I've got 30k in Life Invader.
They can only
at the
know
moment,
if they
last
have
time I
phones,
checked.
by the way.
Yup.
Just saying.
Talk about the phones.
I'm gonna let
what
y'all
are
secret.
we doing
We
about
assume
the
you guys
green
have phones all the
boxes?
time.
What are we doing in boxes? In the white boxes that some of us
I
can.
think that's a glitch. I'm pretty sure that's a glitch in the system that isn't supposed to exist.
What's that?
There's a so it's been
There's
happening
multiple.
there's
5
months,
at the moment.
months and months worth of this. Ever since I joined DOC, there are places around the yard where if you F2 and you're the right person at the right angle, you can access a storage, and I think that's a glitch.
Wait, it is? Oh shit.
I can actually say that I found this.
I was with you when you found it, and you were like, "Can you access this?" And I was like,
Yeah, I
"Oh,
was
this
there.
is
Like,
off."
what the fuck?
It's not only one box. It was all the green
Yeah.
boxes in the yard. I could get into. No one else could. Well, I don't know about you, Connor, because
There's
you
a
weren't
white
there.
one as well.
No, I
There's a
tried
white
with
electrical
Maya.
box that people can do it as well.
Yeah, me and
But-
Maya were trying to open one. I opened it, but she couldn't. So it's like,
Yeah.
I kept going in and out of it until I put too much stuff in it, and now I can't open it again.
Oh.
And I lost everything, and I didn't know because it does say on top. It says jail container. It doesn't
It
say
does.
jail
Oh.
stash.
Yeah.
It says
Sam,
jail
you
container.
wanna say anything about this?
Oh, I don't.
Because it's not
I think that's enough,
it's
right,
not
guys?
even
It's not a
based off
glitch.
the lifer job, because some
Please,
of the lifers
please
that
tell
don't
me.
have the
I wanna-
lifer
Yeah,
job
we
can
need
get
to
into
know.
it.
We need to know.
So
we also need to know if we should be using these.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
I'm pretty sure I let Kieran know in the staff ticket. I'll let him know again. But those of you that I've more or less seen be active and provide Lifer RP for around a month or so, I give you guys a job that Kieran has made to give you guys a personal stash that the short timers cannot take from.
Then where's my stash?
Yes,
Apparently it's not working as intended. I'm sorry.
I don't have one on Tabitha.
I found
Is this-
like 5 different stashes yesterday.
Is
Because
this something
then
that
I'm
DOC can
confused
find?
then.
No. I actually made a ticket on it because I've actually got an open ticket on it because I couldn't get back in and I put all my stuff in there. So I've got an open I've got an open ticket and I do have the container number, everything, because I took a photo of it before I couldn't get back in. So
Manny, which one is it?
So this
I'll
is
show
where
you.
I think it might be potentially a glitch, is because Sam Callarone found it way back in April and March.
Oh,
in one of
jeez.
the things. April, January, February, April. Yeah.
I don't
so
think it was a thing back then.
That's
Because
why I'm
that-
confused, because he found those. I couldn't access them, but he was able to access them.
Because
that
then
is-
I'm confused on.
that's Sam.
I don't know if Rocco has the lifer job, but I know Rocco can make he can't make screwdrivers, but he can get into the stashes. Because he has a couple of guns stored in the
Yeah,
stash.
he does. He has a Navy pistol in there.
That's in character stuff. Doesn't matter what's in them right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's not talk about that. All we're worried about right now is whether or not anything is bugging out. So,
But no, keep talking about that in your staff ticket. I have let Kieran know. I'll remind him again gently.
Yeah, I
have
made
been
that. I
run
made that
away and
ticket. I made that ticket. Let me see, 6 days ago. They still not looked at it or replied to it. Because all of a sudden, like, I could not enter any of them, but I had 3 boxes, all the green boxes in the yard I could open, and there's like 2,000 pounds of room in there.
Holy shit!
So
Nah,
that's
there's a
6,000 pounds of room in total.
I'd be happy with just one of those boxes. Do you know how many screwdrivers and scrap metal that could be?
That's like 1,000 phones. So if anything, if we could have like personal stuff, that'd be good. But
Yeah,
we should probably tone them down in regards to room because we don't need 6,000 pounds.
Maybe like
of room.
500 pounds.
Yeah.
Are they able to open those stashes? Or
2,000.
At the moment,
I
we
could-
don't
you
know.
could have phones for years just hiding them there.
as far as I don't think DOC can open those stashes either, which is
Half the lifers can't open them.
I mean, but personally, I think it's a bit concerning if DOC can't search certain stashes.
yeah, it definitely is.
But I don't
Man.
think Rocco though. Rocco doesn't have the lifer job as far as I'm aware, yet he can access the stashes.
Yeah.
That
So
is
then-
a little.
Hi, Duke, by the way.
Hi, Duke.
Hey, Duke.
That kind of nicely segues
Hello?
to people searching stashes constantly. And
Because one screwdriver got found and everything got raided.
Yeah, that's
and also people are telling other DOC are telling recruits go and search them when there's no RP reason. They're literally somebody pointed out stashes to somebody on the first day and went, make sure you check those regularly. That was told to me by a PD recruit, because they went, oh yeah, I went into that stash and I found this, and I was like, did you have a reason? No, it was pointed out to me on first day, and I've been told to check them regularly.
No, okay, I'm going to
I'll
say this from a
explain a few
PD
things.
recruit's standpoint, which I just was, and we were told never to look into stashes unless there was a reason to.
Right.
There is a DO. There was
I don't
a
know.
DOC.
I don't know who's telling recruits to do that, but that needs to stop.
That would
Yeah.
explain a few missing things.
And that is the reason why I'm okay with lifers having their own personal stash, so long as there is a weight limit on that.
Yeah,
not
you need to take it
2,000
down. No, to times 3, 6,000 pounds.
Give it up. Give it up.
If it's gonna be a stash that no DOC, regardless of rank, can open, then it needs to be heavily restricted. I'd say, like 3 items max.
But even at that, 3 items max could literally be scrap metal, a phone, and screwdrivers. Boom.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there'd have to be a limit on weight too, so you can't just have like 50 phones in one stack or something.
Like
I
the
even
70 daggers
maybe
and weight
like-
match.
Even say
there was a
just-
tomahawk in there
Why
too.
not make it kind of like an evidence
few jerry
bag
cans.
essentially? So 5 slots, but like the weight's like kind of small, like 20 or 50 or something like that.
Sam, was that something you could put in a request for? Or
I
something?
could ask Kieran and see what he can do.
Okay.
For something like that, though, it's really just like a adjust, see what happens, adjust if necessary.
Yeah, let's get it working
Yeah.
first for everybody here.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, we're just going to trust the people that have access to it to not abuse it.
Yeah, I don't give out that job willy-nilly, and I'm pretty sure Kieran is the same way too. because of the fact that it's kind of
I don't think Kieran's given it out to anyone apart from
has
you.
he?
I don't think he has.
I
Because
know-
he needs a phone for it.
Right.
And
I know he added at least one person to it that I did not, so I don't know.
Ooh.
But yeah, I've just been, that's the whole reason why I've been like waiting to see if these new lifers that I accept will actually provide RP, and if that's the case, then I will award you with the lifer job. But anyway, I want to get this done in time. Does DOC have any other things, concerns, things they would like to see?
Stop giving up stash locations for getting off a certain security level, or like learn it. It's you tell us something, which is fine, but you're doing it to try and get out of a punishment, and it's kind of so do we take the information, or do we take the fact that you still need to be punished, and then you repeat the same punishment, and it's kind of this vicious circle that just keeps going round and round, and it's kind of now it feels like that roleplay, that avenue has been ruined because you've decided to basically tell DOC this is the thing.
No, but that's roleplay. We have criminals coming to us with some locations too. We close them down. That's just roleplay. You gotta play it out. That's what we're here
Get
for.
out of punishment.
Yeah, and that's what people do on the outside as well. That's roleplay. That's how you get out of punishments IRL. You tell someone, you get lower time and fine. That's not an OOC concern. That's a roleplay concern that you can all roleplay out, which is again what we're here for.
Yeah, it's snitching basically. I mean, I'm not against it.
Yeah,
I'm okay with that, especially since you could also turn it against them.
as long as you're metaing the
Or lie.
information, no one cares. Out of character. Or shouldn't at least.
Okay. Anything else? Just from DOC. Nothing? Okay. Moving on to the lifer side. Talked about punishments.
Scrap metal isn't contraband.
I agree.
Again, in character.
I haven't even been told in character it is contraband yet. And I still have so much on me. I just
That sounds like
know
art
soon.
supplies.
I also would like to know, I guess, if people are playing their lifers as a main or as an alt.
Rock is my main. My DOC is the alt.
Yeah.
At the moment, I'm kind of maining my lifer.
Yeah, Connor's my main for right now, but I got accepted for PD, so.
I'm playing Maddie as my main right now.
Mine
Okay.
is my alt.
It's interesting. I've personally always viewed, because of how restricted, just based on server mechanics, that lifer roleplay is. I've always viewed lifers as like an alt type of character.
But that's the thing, though. There is so much essentially you can do with a lifer, but with like some rules as well. With like some rules being like obviously taken away, I understand why. For example, the therapy RP reason, I understand why that's been taken away, but that also takes away RP opportunities. So like there essentially is a shit ton you can do with RP, but it's just whether the matter of fact it's allowed in the rules or not. Like with
Exactly.
like lifers, you can talk about among other lifers and you can run around, fuck around and all that, which is fun. But there's some things that like just certain aspects that have been taken away, understandably why, but I feel as if they shouldn't fully be taken away, just limited.
Ryeka, your staff, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I will have a discussion with staff about that because I also feel the same way about that, Maya.
Yeah, we've had this discussion, but what therapy roleplay in any server ever always turns into is just people IRL like trauma dumping whoever's doing it, and then
Yeah, I
and
completely
then I know you
understand
say you can
that.
limit it, but it never removes the problem of people getting stressed at IRL, or all that shit, using it against them, and they have an inevitably fight OOC. So we'd rather, same with the ERP rule. A lot of people are doing it right, but because like a fraction of the people were doing it wrong, we just say no. So there's no how do you say it?
Bleed and stuff. Yeah.
I do completely understand that, but then why not just punish them rather than completely destroying the RP for everybody? Like, I know there is certain things for that you need to take away for everybody, but like therapy RP is basically a lot of medical RP, because the only thing we can really do is we can only act hard. Like anything, like if you want to like say like your character, I don't know, just there's a lot of things that therapy RP and other parts of RP are now taken out of lifers. Like some lifers commit crimes due to medical reasons, like whether it's like some disorder or something. We can no longer RP that out because we are physically not allowed to, because it's classified as
Yeah,
therapy
but
RP.
often it becomes too stressful for people OOC,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because, like you said, some do it right, some do it wrong. But people doing it wrong happens over and over and over, and then it just leaves a bad taste all around. So we can choose just to RP other stuff that is not stressful for people outside of, the game, because we're playing a game, right?
But then again, if you choose to become one of the therapists, you know that is a risk you're going to take. And obviously, if people do it, they can report that person, and obviously
but,
that can be handled
I want to
that
break in
way.
on that because this always happens. Also, when people roleplay mental disabilities, they either do it wrong and offend people that actually suffer from these disabilities, or they almost power game their way out of situations by saying, "Oh, but I am names anything." So again, to stop the small fraction of people doing that, we just disallowed it all, and we're not going to bring it back anytime soon. So there's no point in discussing it because it's not coming back. And it's not me saying it's a dick. I'm just, you're wasting your time trying to get it back.
Yeah, no, I completely understand why, but I just don't understand why punish everybody for a small fraction. Why not just
Well,
punish that small
that's
fraction?
life. That's life. If you were in kindergarten and there was one guy screaming around, everyone's going to the corner, fucking reading a book instead of playing around. It's just how it works. It's life. It's unfortunate.
From somebody who in a previous server did play a roleplay therapist, a therapy roleplay, and I played it for well over, Ali can verify this, well over a year and a bit. It takes a very strong-minded person with a lot of will and a right mental mindset, because you are doing things like you're taking notes, you're having to cope with the fact that some people are beginning to bleed, you are coping with the fact that it's a role that can get very stressful. You also get people who don't make the improvements that they are supposed to make. You get some people who abuse the system for that, and not to say that it's not possible, but without the right support and the right people to lead that type of roleplay and the people to teach how to support, it's a job that puts a lot of strain on the person playing the therapist, more than you might actually think. It's a great avenue of roleplay, but like I said, there are very few people who are able to cope with that kind of stress that comes from it, because like I've encountered people who didn't want to improve, and I had to go, I can't do this anymore. I have to change the situation, and in a way that ruined their roleplay because they were unable to continue that. And it's a very difficult avenue to do unless you've got the right people, the right setup, the right support from staff. And I'm not saying that Echo wouldn't support in the right way. I'm saying the previous server that I was, support wasn't as applicably, wasn't as great as it could have been. But unless you have all those things lined up, it becomes a very difficult roleplay avenue. And it's not to say that it needs to be dismissed or that it's not important and it's not important to stories, unfortunately, it's a very difficult roleplay avenue to go into.
Yeah, and I can agree. I came from a text-based roleplay website, and they also were kind of cringing about therapy roleplay. I personally don't mind doing it myself, but I can understand why people would be hesitant to. But anyway, last thing I wanted to know from the people that I guess main lifers or even have them as alts is what keeps you guys coming back? What makes it fun for you guys? Because I want to keep that energy going. I want you guys to keep waking up.
Well, first of all, I can start by saying, like, I don't think. Well, I know you, Sam, and Duncan. You know, I played Ava way back.
Yep.
And since then, it has improved a lot. You know, I reached a point playing Ava back then where I decided, like, you know, this is just, no, ain't doing this no more. I'm tired of it. And then took a break from it, came back, and it was all changed around, and I put in my applications for Maddie. And it's improved a lot. I enjoy myself a lot more now than I did back then, and I did main Ava back then as well. So I just want to give you, like, thumbs up for that. You have improved it a lot.
Oh, thank God.
Well, thank you. There's been a lot of changes since Sam became warden and I became deputy warden, and the whole command structure changed. And it's good to hear that people are enjoying it. So,
Right,
what
that's
I
my
found quite
main thing.
enjoyable was in regards to activities, and I've been awake when Lyra's done the bike race as well as the quiz thing. They were quite fun. However, I'm not seeing anybody else apart from really Lyra running them or anything like that. Like whether it's recruits not being told, yeah, they're allowed to run activities with us, or they just don't have any ideas.
Yeah, that was actually kind of fun. That's something I do,
Yeah.
just not even RPing. Like, just get in a room and let's do it. That was really fun. And I think that was a very good idea. And it had all the lifers, and I believe it was lifers mainly. Yeah, it was all lifers.
Yeah, it was mainly
sitting down and
lifers.
just doing this together.
Like even the bike race when we had EMS as well come and join us.
Even though the other team was cheating, it was fun.
we did discuss a lot of potential activities and programs for lifers in character yesterday at the DOC meeting we had. So we do have some ideas coming in the near future for things for you guys to do. Not like big like events, but just little activities like bringing back fight night or something. Maybe more bike races, things like that.
Small stuff that doesn't require super duper like PD approval.
Right, stuff that doesn't require like getting it through SAO or something like that, or leaving the prison or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to be doing more of that. Just stay tuned.
Still waiting for that next sex ed class.
Oh, that will probably be happening very shortly, actually. I was
Do you still have the
waiting.
minutes from the first one?
I do. And I was waiting for something from staff. They couldn't provide it, and that's fine. I'll just improvise. But it's
What do you need?
It was a custom item, and I submitted a ticket for it, but I'm not too worried about it.
Those takes a while.
Yeah. I'm not too worried about it. I can still make it work. I might be doing it soon, like this upcoming storm. I don't know yet.
Cool, I'll be there.
Oh my God, I'll be there. I'm gonna let you know, Sam.
All the lifers awake now.
Yes, Sam used to do this like way back, even when I was Ava. She used to do sex ed, and it was the funnest thing ever.
Oh my God.
I'm jealous of you guys. When I did prisoner feed, there was no prisoners ever.
Just like ERP band, sex ed class. Yay.
So I can get away with.
Donut Boy, you should be able to come and join us now.
Yeah.
What? Oh no, I don't want to anymore. Every time I go there, I get spam punched, so I choose not to.
That's so sad. But no, I do it from the perspective of education. So yeah,
yeah.
It's how I also get through Twitch's TOS.
Hey guys, I do have to excuse myself. Thank you though, everybody. Have a good evening.
Bye.
Bye.
Maya running around naked half the time.
Constantly. Well, Throck used to do that too. Still does, but used to as well.
Okay, so that's pretty much all I have on my list. Basically now it's open floor.
Go on, Throck, your 2 pages.
Okay. Note pages. Well, actually, we went over a lot of it that I'd written down. Like, where the fuck? So, like, yeah, just less shakedowns in general, until we can get that one lifer thing, that one stash. But like, in my opinion, like, if like a single screwdriver is found on somebody, I don't feel like there's a reason to go shake down the entire prison. The one item has been found. Like if somebody gets stabbed and you find the stab item, you have that. There's no need for the rest of the prison to get shaken down. If you don't find the item, go and search everything. Like if you have the one thing that you know caused a problem, it doesn't make sense to me like why every single time you would search everything.
And
I agree with that.
And it's things like you've got the person who attacked locked in the cell block. Why are then you going to search the outside?
Exactly. So like
I can understand like searching like stashes that you know to be near where they found the screwdriver, or like if there was an attack or something. But yeah,
like
I
the
don't
person
think it should
and
be
their
doing
cell.
like. Yeah, I don't think they should be doing like the whole prison. Like, all right, go to the north yard and search over there too. Like, I mean.
Also, how the fuck did you guys find out about that one?
He went searching.
So basically, someone had been stabbed, and we had been having a series of stabbings over the last week or something. And I went and started searching. I was like, all right, there's been stabbings. You're gonna do a shakedown. I went and searched all the places that I could think of in the South Yard, and I was like, I didn't find shit. And I was like, they've gotta have more. So I was like, the only place I haven't looked is the North Yard. So I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna go search the North Yard, and I ended up finding some stuff.
Bastard.
You know what's shitty? You know what's super shitty about that? I had only just found those. We had not been using them. We had only just found them a few days.
I found 11 screwdrivers, 4 phones, and a dagger, dude.
A few days before you found them. We started using them.
That's just bad luck right there.
Like, it really was.
If you guys had some screwdrivers or something in the South Yard and I had found them, I probably wouldn't have even like went to the North Yard. I'd be like, oh, found them, done, And then, but because I didn't find anything in the South Yard, I was like, there's gotta be somewhere they're keeping these, because
you didn't find anything. You didn't find anything in the North Yard. Because you guys searched every single time something was found. So we're just like, fuck it. We're just going to keep it all on our person.
Listen, I'm just saying, if you guys hear a flamethrower going off, just mind your business.
Hey, if it's a flamethrower and
God.
Brock doesn't have it, I'm going to be pissed both in character and out.
The frequent shakedowns for minor things shouldn't be a thing.
Yeah.
I don't know who's been calling for them, but
so I will say that Matthews is hard mode, and I will also say that Haas is hard mode when he comes on duty, because that's just the characters they are. Haas has been in DOC before Duncan and I have been, and Matthews, you've all met him. You know he's hard mode. Yeah. So if it's unfortunate that someone gets stabbed and he's, the one on duty and is scene command, he's probably gonna shake down the whole jail.
I mean, if someone gets stabbed, that's cause for a shakedown, I'd say.
Yeah.
But if it's just you happen to find something on someone who didn't use it, then that might not be a shakedown.
But like the fun thing as a lifer is juggling your contraband. It's juggling it and passing it from person to person, hoping someone doesn't see.
Yeah. But also, correct me if I'm wrong, but screwdrivers are easy as fuck to get.
Oh, they are.
Yeah, they
but,
are.
Yeah.
But it
The only
was,
issue is that only certain people can craft them, which sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, you say it's fun to juggle, and I agree, it's fun to juggle the stuff around, hope it doesn't get caught, but it was happening so much that it was, like, impossible to do. Like, there was no
I
way.
think at one point when Mark had managed to stab that DOC and PD came rushing in, no warning or anything, full on blazing him down. When he got put in the cell, I had managed to actually juggle the contraband off of him into one of the stashes, so he didn't get found with that on him. But with that, I was more upset about PD coming in, no warning or anything, just full on guns blazing him down when he was stood still. He was literally stood still and he
That's in
just
character stuff, so.
yeah.
Yeah.
But,
that
alright.
that did get dealt with in character
So,
as well.
less shakedowns. Next page. We talked about that. Yeah, talked about that. Yeah, good. My biggest. I have two more things. One regarding lifers and one regarding DOC. So, in my opinion, lifers need to calm down. Like, just in general, calm down with the beef against DOC and like just the total, not like just not listening. Like, just immediate time. Like, we're lifers. In my opinion, we're lifers. We know when shit happens. We know when we're supposed to go inside. We know if it's a jailbreak, into the cell block. If they tell us to go into our cell, we can argue a bit, but after like maybe one or two, like, no, I don't want to. No, fine, I'll go in. Like we as the lifers, we're expected to understand how prison works more than the short timers. And like I feel like if we don't just accept parts of it, like, okay, it's nighttime, let's go inside. I feel like not accepting that as much as a lifer is just kind of lazy, and like it's going against what is expected of a lifer, right?
I completely understand that. But see, when jailbreaks happen, essentially, would lifers not try and essentially take that opportunity to try and escape? I'm aware we're not allowed to unless it's approved, but as a lifer, if you were in jail and you had that opportunity to try, would you not try and take it? Essentially, I'm
Rock
aware, like,
doesn't wanna
obviously,
leave
it
prison.
shouldn't
That's
happen
Rock's thing.
all the time, but
I think all of this is that, exactly that point is kind of in character, because different people play different characters, and some are gonna be, the kind who cause trouble, who doesn't listen. That's just like we all are. Like everyone in this channel right now, we're all different. We'd react different to. So I think that's like something we're just gonna have to accept. That certain people will not listen.
It does raise a valid point though, because 100% of the people that are dicks in character not listening are also 100% of the people that are crying in character when they can't do something because they are being disobedient. So take that, if you work with DOC, they work with you. So I don't know.
I think there's Throck has a point, but I also agree that there is depending on the character, they're going to be different levels of compliant depending on the situation. One thing that I'll say though is, like, for example, for jailbreaks, like if someone lands a helicopter in the prison and comes in with automatic weapons and starts shooting up the place, I don't think it makes sense for anyone who isn't armed to fight back, like DOC with lethal or something, to move anywhere towards the gunfire. Like, I found it a little. Yeah, like I found it a little odd. Like when Daniel was moving towards Sam to help her, it's like it's a nice gesture, but it's like she was literally just getting shot at by an AK-47. You're not concerned that you're gonna get shot too? Like, do you think that just because you have yellow pants on that they're gonna not shoot you? Like, you know
Actually,
what I mean? Like,
I had that dilemma yesterday because I did actually wake up next to all of this happening.
You gotta stop waking up in the middle of shit.
No, one thing
literally
is
just
timing.
woke
Another
up
thing is where I
right
wake
there.
up. I woke up where the buses used to be because I fell asleep in a bus. or Maddie is.
I can't lie,
Anyway,
Maddie, as soon as I seen you, I thought you were part of it. I was like, oh shit, is Maddie bought Roy's in?
No, but I had like an instant, like yesterday though. So I woke up and there was like one of them were down, like, and I was like, oh my god, I want to go get him so we can like run his pockets. But then it clicked in my head, like, no, surely I wouldn't be running towards the people with a gun just to pick up one of the. No. So
Exactly.
but it clicked like yesterday. I really wanted to, and then I clicked, no. I have to remember, value life. So I was like, oh no, I'm running out of it. I'm out of here, and I ran.
We also need to address that with PD recruits as well, and DOC recruits, because they also run towards the person with the guns.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
Like I said, it makes sense if you are also armed and able to fight back. But if all you've got is, your fists as a lifer or a screwdriver, or you're a recruit and all you've got is a taser and a nightstick, you're not going to do shit against a guy with a gun, And even if you don't think that they are there to kill you, you still shouldn't be running towards the gunfire. You know what I mean?
It's MVL, guys. We ban people for that. So.
Yeah. So
I
just
think
keep that in mind for the future.
PD running into the cafeteria when alone, like single-filedly, like 2 at a time, to get these 2 people, one with a knife and one managed to get an AR off of one of them, and they were just getting downed like that. There was 7 of them that went down because they had went in 2 at a time, and they both went in like 1 at a time. They didn't even try and attack the other side of the cafeteria. They were just attacking this one side.
That's just training.
Yeah, that's just training.
But so like, I get that like the lifers like, yeah, you want to break out. You're not allowed to, but like still there's that motivation of, oh, maybe it's time to break out. Helicopter, maybe that's for me. Even though every time a helicopter skims the prison, everybody's like, go in the cell blocks. So like I get the slight non-compliance at that, but it's the stuff that like, and this is coming from a lifer and a DOC perspective. Like it's kind of, in my opinion, annoying on both sides, but it doesn't make sense to be like every single day, we go inside at night. Why argue that every single time to the same exact extent when nothing's going to change?
I would say, especially if you're, lowest security level, one thing is the people who are allowed to garden and they know they're going back into their cells or something like that when they come in.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, I agree. When it gets dark, we go inside unless you have like an actual reason, in character reason to not wanna, except for like the whole I don't wanna. Like,
yeah,
when
other
it's
than
not
just
kindergarten.
being like, I don't wanna. No,
I don't wanna.
wow. Like
Yeah.
That one day.
I just want to sit and garden. That's all I want to do. Sit and garden.
I get that, but your lifer, like, no, but like, we've talked about that. But just in general, non-compliance to every small little detail. It's not fun to watch as a lifer, to just sit there and watch the DOC just struggle. But then it's also very annoying as a DOC, but that's in character stuff. But like, just, it doesn't make sense to me. It might make sense to you, but in my opinion, that kind of thing does not.
Did that kind of issue not get Bobby stabbed at one point because 2 DOC had to go deal with this one person, leaving him alone with a couple of people?
Yeah, no, that did. Is because it was with one person, and there was 3 DOC, and the one person needed 2 DOC to go handle that one person who just didn't want to do something very simple, like get changed or something.
Oh yeah, please get your fucking pants changed when you're asked to. There's nothing mechanically we can do to do it for you.
Yeah, but it because of this one person, but my DOC was left with like 4 other inmates, and like I know I should have gone out, or like with like a number of other inmates, and he ended up getting ganged up on because I didn't know that the other inmate needed, or the 2 people were taking. They were dealing with one. basically 2 dealing with 1, leaving me to deal with like 3 or 4.
So my thing with non-compliance is I have 3 things for that, which is basically patience, solitary, or force. And I like to say I have a high tolerance for non-compliance, but there are days where I'm just like, I don't want to deal with your shit. So I just take out my taser and go walk, or you just get shackled and left. That's basically how I deal with people who don't want to get changed into pants or whatever. Or I will just troll you, because if that's what you want to do with me, then I will do the same to you.
I mean, and when it comes to getting changed, it's basically what it is. It's just trolling.
Yeah, it is.
Because there's nothing we can do to make your clothes change. You know, like
Borderline
we
LRP as well.
Yeah,
like
it
we
is.
literally have to wait there for you to get changed, and if you don't do it, if you're dead set on not doing it, there's literally nothing we can do. We can beat you down, we can tase you, we can handcuff you, but we can't physically change your clothes for you.
Anything? I am going to ask Kieran if maybe he could put in some like different flowers into the garden for us. Do you guys have like suggestions on maybe like a different food or something to make in the kitchen? Maybe.
Oh, so much fun.
Like breakfast food, omelets, eggs. Let's get some poppy flowers to make opium.
Oh my god.
Tulips.
How about some toilet wine? Some actual toilet wine.
Yeah, let's be able to make fucking
Y'all still don't have toilet wine?
No, we
Get
have so many
butter.
potatoes.
Get butter and we can beat people up with butter.
But like let's. Also, I want to make make lockpicks, because if I can make a screwdriver out of plastic and scrap metal, I can make a fucking lockpick like nobody's business. So let me get a lockpick. But regardless, yeah. But so I'm thinking like just in general, different simple meals like a steak dinner or like fucking casserole.
A steak dinner in prison?
Yeah.
No,
steak, man.
see that I'd rather that those kind of
Like
dinners be like,
casserole.
Yeah, casserole's fun, but like steak, I want to be able to be rewarded with like that kind of a dinner if we do good one day. Like it's steak, and I don't even have steak in my house right now. Like I wish
That's
I did.
a shame. You should.
But no, I don't think we should have steak in prison.
Well,
I
it's just
disagree with
like different types of meals, like stew or fucking casserole, but like cowboy stew, the kind of stew you just throw together.
Some haggis.
Okay.
Anything. Let's actually get peas into the prison
That's
so
what
we
pizza
can.
soup is.
Let's actually get peas into the prison so we can RP
You know what?
feeding them to people.
I could ask for pea soup.
Yes.
You know what? Hear me out.
Make some haggis.
grilled cheese. I want grilled cheese in prison.
Unicorn cake.
So hear me out, right? Conjugal, not the sexual conjugal thing. Freak out.
Jesus.
Just be like able like hug your loved ones and shit. That'd be dope.
Oh, that's
physical visitation.
Actually, yeah, that's actually
something we'd have to do in character. We'd have to run it by a CEO and stuff.
Is there any chance that we have any form of bank in the prison? I know it seems like hella real unrealistic, but I have currently 14k on me. If a short timer decides to stab me or beat me up and then rob me,
I don't want to get robbed
that is
again.
14k gone.
I mean,
And nothing I
how
can do
terrible would
about
that be?
I'll say it once and I'll say it again. The last time I asked for an ATM in the prison, Claus laughed at me and said no.
So the way I got
I don't know why, but
the way I got around with that with Mirabelle is that she gave me her bank account number, and she gave me the money, and then I would transfer that money into a bank account.
I just give you guys money to hold as my bank, because my bank account's not going down. I'll tell you that now. Like
why don't you make a different bank account if we manage to get Life Invader?
Yeah, either
bank.
Yeah, for the Life Invader trips, we could take you guys to a Life Invader, and then we can also take you guys to a bank.
Can we also go get an ID?
And
I want
we could
that.
create like
Yeah, I
a
want IDs.
savings account to put the money in if you have like 100,000 in debt.
I do.
Right?
Yeah.
I have 18 grand from
Well,
fucking the doctor.
If
I'm only at 6 grand at the moment.
I understand. Sorry to jump in when you don't know who the fuck I am, but if you're worried about the whole like debt thing and then having cash, like you are in debt to the government. If you were to put that sum into a bank account out of nowhere, of course you're a little fucked. So you kind of run that risk of holding on to 14 grand in jail or something like that, or making a down payment to someone you trust on the outside for something. I don't know, but I feel like that makes sense.
I mean, it also doesn't really make sense, to realistically hold that amount of cash on you in a prison
Yeah.
uniform.
Shit.
And then someone like some shitlord, short timer, comes in and starts trying to knock you out and sees, oh, he has 15K on him. Let me take that off.
Which no, that's
What I
exactly
think-
what, that's exactly what happened to me. Like
What I
last.
think would be nice is if like, and this would be a server thing that'll have to be implemented. But like, if you could make cash into an item that you can pick up,
Yeah.
and then you could store that item in your stash, like stuffing your cash under your mattress or something,
Or even in a wallet.
You have to
Yeah,
also
like-
think
money into my wallet.
the lifers. Each lifer is different because, like Loretta, she was just transferred, so I don't have any fines. Putting money in the bank for me wouldn't do anything for Loretta, and it wouldn't sink. Whereas Throck, has a shit ton of fines now because of his crimes he committed while on the server and through story and roleplay. So I think that also differentiates on if a bank is useful or not to a lifer.
So not even just that, right? But I understand lifers will have really be used for cash for commissary, but to add on to what Earl said, essentially, like even maybe, because your personal items get taken before you go to prison. So just like quote unquote, hand the cash over to them and then putting in the personal item section isn't bad either.
Right.
But even at that, we make cash while in prison because of prison jobs. So, like, I had came into prison with 2.5k. Obviously, because Bill Bob uses money, I've went down to negative 6k already from the doctor alone.
Yeah, I know of an in-character fix for most of that, so I will have Sam bring it up at some point.
Thank God.
Or even
Yeah.
better, just have it medical care free for the inmates.
I mean, it technically is because all it does is deepen my debt.
If anything, we should have the cards, the insurance cards.
Oh my god, that
It
was
doesn't work. It doesn't
that
work for
doesn't work
local.
because that pays your bills.
Yeah, it doesn't work for local. It doesn't work for local. If you take Bill Bob, it would work if EMS came to treat you, but not if you take Bill Bob.
Yeah.
The problem with that, with the free healthcare thing, is that it's just, I guess the server's just not set up to be able to support that for a select group of people like lifers. You know what I mean? So, unfortunately, that's just a limitation that we have on the server.
Okay, so we're almost 2 hours, and the storm will be upon us in less than an hour. I want to say we went through all of our concerns already, but basically last minute things to mention. Anybody?
Try to be more communicative with prisoners. As DOC, like as much as you can, it's very frustrating to be thrown into a cell and just not told why for however long. Just like if I see a helicopter and you tell me to go in the cell block, I get that one. But if I'm just in the garden and suddenly you go cell block now, I'm like, fucking why? Why should I panic? Why am I supposed to panic now? It's like I need to know.
Fair enough.
So I understand you guys can't talk about you're not supposed to talk about like open investigations or whatever. But like, I'm sure there is stuff that you can't tell us that it doesn't get told a lot. Like cell block now.
Yes
I almost
and
feel-
no. But the no part is mostly for Sam in particular because that's just how her mind works.
Yeah, no, character wise, yeah, that's fine. But like, just in general. If I ask who gets stabbed, you can't really always tell me, even though I'm going to find out. But like, if I shout or if you yell at me to go to the cell block, and I don't see a reason why.
That's going to cause resistance.
Yes, a lot of times people don't like Throck doesn't get told why, and currently I've just kind of been going with it, but like.
Yeah, and that can be addressed in character, honestly.
Yeah, I feel like that's an in character thing. Like I feel like, for reference, Hans is someone whom you might have told because he's a good he's a good little boy, but then like you wouldn't have told Estway because he makes mustard gas. Like that. Like if they're not telling Throck, like has Throck been fucking around?
No, Throck's been fucking great lately.
I don't believe this.
Well, he punched Mendoza like 3 times. That's about it.
Mendoza deserved it.
All right, last call for anything else before we
Any
end
quick
it
fire
here.
stuff questions? You got about 2 minutes.
2 minutes?
Yeah.
What?
We have been going on for a long time.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm saying 2 minutes for stuff questions, and then I'm leaving the chat.
Staff
2
questions.
minutes per staff
Yeah.
question.
Staff questions?
Yeah,
Like,
anything staff-wise you want to know. Like, is this power gaming? Then I probably say yes, and that kind of stuff.
Is the donut sexy?
Staff questions, not personal questions, please.
Okay, so about the stashes that only half the people can get into.
Oh, I just
should
tested
we
it.
still be using these?
Yes, you just need to look at them right. I've confirmed with Kieran. You just need to look at them right.
But then I'm confused on how Rocco can get into it. I don't think.
I don't want to go into server mechanics, but if you look at them right, you can get into them. You don't need a job or anything. So you just look at them, you get into it.
By look, do you mean camera or body?
I believe it's camera, like with all the other stuff like drones and shit.
I have looked at every single angle in that goddamn fucking thing. I've even looked at it from the side behind the fence. I haven't gotten damn shit.
Well, I did it earlier. Well, no clipping. I got 2, like first go. So it's definitely possible. You just need to do it right.
Okay, so let's spend the next hour trying to get into it.
Yeah, you're gonna see all the lifers standing around.
What the fuck are they doing?
Box for an hour, like, what?
And one of them just shouts, "I fucking got it!"
Alright, in character was ever playing Uno on the fucking thing.
Alright, so that
any
answers
staff
that.
questions real quick before
okay. For the staff question then.
Yeah.
For the people that are like parking a fucking box truck and climbing over that, then climbing over the lobby building and then getting into the prison, is that instance reportable?
It really depends on the case. If you believe the situation you were involved in was low quality, always report it.
Okay. So those people who do that and then they take the teleport out, is that reportable?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
Report that.
Like, but like, I feel like anyone who literally just jumps on top of a truck and jumps over the fence of a max security prison is low quality RP all the way.
And I'm pretty sure there was a fix with map-wise, if I'm not mistaken, but because they are doing the testing, it got reverted, but it should be back soon, I think. And if not, might be worth suggesting it in the main Discord so they see it.
To me, it kind
They
of depends.
removed the thing that you could climb up, but they left the back of the lobby, like the back of the building open, which is how they did it.
So either if it's a bug, report as a bug. If it's a suggestion, report as suggestion so things get logged and we can look back on it.
Okay.
I kind of feel like if 5 people like break in like that with guns ready to bust their friend out, it's quite different than someone else just coming down to say hi.
That's what I'm
Because
saying.
they were
Case by
bored.
case, so report it. We look at it. We look at every report. Might take a day or 2, but we look at every report that comes in.
Because the amount of people who just like, so who are you? No, I just came to say hi. I was bored. Like,
yeah,
what?
That's low
You
quality
broke
as
in. You
frick,
broke into a
and report
maximum
that.
security because you were bored. But you have like 5 people coming with like ARs ready to get their friend out. That's
No,
quite
that's
different.
fine. It falls like how the random robbing rule is a thing.
Yeah.
Measured of that. If they just randomly go to prison because they're bored or something, fucking report it. We'll look at it. But if they're like actually breaking someone out, I mean, they're breaking someone out. That's roleplay.
Okay.
Let me ask you this, because I am guilty of that a long time ago, Ryeka.
Yeah.
I had a character who was in prison before and found a friend in there that, because he didn't have any other friends, he wanted to stay in prison by any means possible. Is that still considered low quality?
Again, it depends on the scenario. If you're not actively trying to cause riots, you're just chilling there, because I'm pretty sure I'll know Ted Nessie. He breaks into prison to cause havoc, like no ill intent. that's fine. It's roleplay. But if you're in there, giving someone something and then using the teleport to get out, that's power game low quality, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
So again, case by case, we look at it. If you have like metal or something running, always include that. If not, we can try to like get their point of view or anyone else's, but it's always harder. So if you can record, please.
I'll be
can
honest,
someone,
metal's tanking my PC.
Yeah, can someone teach me how to use metal? Because
Either use metal or Breakfast been saying that OBS replay is very nice. So look into that. It's also very light on your PC. It should be, but I haven't looked into it.
Yeah, because I've had Streamlabs recording and it kills my
Streamlabs
PC.
is terrible. You need to get the regular OBS.
Yeah.
And then either record or
Still going
set
on.
up the roleplay, the replay thingy.
So Streamlabs is very CPU intensive. That's why.
Yeah, that's shit.
Okay, yeah, because that completely kills my game off.
Yeah.
So I've stopped using it.
You could go super ghetto and take out your cell phone and record.
No, please don't.
Oh my god!
Welcome back to 2005. This is my playthrough
Oh,
of
no,
Halo.
but you need what's it called? You need Nitro to actually submit that into anything because it'll tell you the file's too big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or just upload it to something
YouTube.
and
YouTube streamable. Google Drive is shit, so don't do that. But anything like
Hear
that.
me out.
Oh, so
Make an
OBS
animation
or
what happened
metal?
with paint.
OBS is slider on your PC. I think metal is easier to use, in my opinion. But it's what you value more. Because metal you set up to record your entire roleplay sessions. You could just clip it, and OBS is more like you either record the whole thing or you like replay the last 15 minutes.
Actually, I do have one question in regards to. I was going to bring this up, and I just remembered it. So as lifers, it makes no sense for us to be running around with body cams, right?
Yeah.
So
what if you're streaming then? How does that
Body
work?
cam is for more like in character.
But I was wondering. Yeah, I know, but I was wondering if it's possible to setting up security cameras in the prison.
No.
And so that we can, as
not
lifers,
happening.
use that. No, but we're not going to actually set them up. But so we can use that in.
No, but we're not gonna allow it. We have looked at it. We've last week, I think last Saturday, we had a staff meeting. We talked about this again, and we've decided that these quote-unquote CCTV footages are too random to be like used in character. So we're not allowing that whatsoever.
Okay, so what if I ask like this? What if a lifer gets beaten the shit out of by
And
a
it's tough
PD
shit. Then
recruit?
but then, well, 9 out of 10 times you can just report them. Well, because also in character, PD looks at it. If you feel like it's corrupt, report it out of character because that's obviously a rule. But yeah.
So we can't have any ways for lifers to be secure in the kind of ways where steps are because every recruit, every DOC can prove with body cam. But let's say like Throx get beaten completely black and blue and goes into a coma. There's nothing for him to use as evidence.
So, Sam has been thinking about that. I don't know if you guys remember Peregrine. She's my undercover. Yeah, that was the whole reason she was there. But in character-wise, I will figure out other ways to more or less protect you guys, because OOC, I think that's kind of really shitty to do.
It is shitty to do, and it's borderline, like I said, the corruption roleplay, which is not allowed at all. We probably ban people or like remove them from PD for that. It's the same if I go on like in the tunnels, I shoot up a criminal. Who says that I did it? Who says that I don't? So again, the CCTV footage is too random to be included like in character. That's why.
Which is why I said put security
cameras.
cameras.
Security camera, because there is security cameras around, like in the cafeteria, and there's like warning of
Yeah, I
like
know, but
CCTVs.
we're not allowing it. We're not going to use it. So no matter what your argument is, we've talked about this a lot and stuff. This and the last, and I'm pretty sure even the meeting before that we had with stuff. But it's just too random and it doesn't work. It's the same with the therapy. It's the same with the ERP. We're not gonna allow it to avoid the random punishments.
Therapy.
Yeah, we talked about it earlier. So.
All right. Well, fair enough. We'll find other ways.
Yeah, and we'll find other ways to more or less check up on the lifers and stuff. Sam is going to do it again. So yeah. Anyway, any other last things?
I mean, it's more so a question for Ryeka about that.
Yeah.
So what's with the? I mean, every server I've been to, corruption's always been bannable. I'm just always curious what about it here? Like, what's the reason for it here?
What was that?
What's the reason for corruption being perma-bannable here?
Well, you need staff approval for to do it because a lot of people take corruption roleplay where they grab a couple rifles out of the armory and they sell it to their OOC friends.
Oh no, fuck that. I'm more
And
so
people-
like interested in RP. Like, say like if I was a cop and my wife was a cop and she got murdered, I'd kill the motherfucker if I found him instead of putting him in prison.
I mean, that is not. I mean, that's kind of abusing your job, right? And if you have, like, you can do that stuff, you just need to ask permission for it. And then if the roleplay is there, we more than likely just allow it. But
Yeah.
we kind of want to keep a close eye on this thing, so like investigate stuff before we allow it, because otherwise you can just say, oh yeah, but he said this and this to my whatever, and then doesn't justify it OOC. Like in character, you're always gonna get fired, but we also want the OOC side of things to be like not ruining anyone's roleplay or anything.
Okay, so it's not just never; it just has to be approved. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that.
All right.
Okay, sounds like we're good. So I will see you guys in the city at some point. Thanks for coming.
All right, thanks for the talk.
All right.
Bye.
Have a good one.
Bye.